It's Press Pass with Jack Ebling, Mid-Michigan's spirited sports debate. Now let's get talking sports. Here's Jack.
Great evening, Mid-Michigan and beyond. Welcome to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time to meet Team 209. You know what that means. This is the start of year number 5. So I want to introduce Graham Couch, sports columnist for the Lansing State Journal. He is our Monday co-host on The Drive with Jack on the Team 92.1 FM. You're home for We Are There Sports Radio. Graham, how are you?
I'm good. I lost the pool on the over-under and how many years was the last. I had .2. And so that was about, what, 3 months, 2 months?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
How long were you in the press box last night, by the way?
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
The SID eventually.
How long did it take to write Michigan State sucks?
You know, I had a lot of words to craft, pretty words, a lot of prose.
First time, I think, with this media contingent that you haven't made last call, right?
Yeah, we usually are pretty, we usually have people call ahead and leave a bar open for us. But East Lansing doesn't have a lot of 4 a.m. places.
You didn't tell me that. I left. I could have hung around, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
also want to welcome in Rico Beard. He's a longtime Detroit area radio and TV personality, recruiting insider, and he is host of the Spartan Beat, weeknights from 6 to 7 on the Team 92.1. Rico, how are you?
Good, Jack. Apparently I was home and in bed while he was still working, so I don't know what you were doing, Graham, but it didn't take that much.
You're not the first person to ask that.
The game was pretty much over at halftime. You could type that out during the break.
There was a story before the game.
Remind me to hire
you were talking about Michigan State getting another quarterback prospect, right?
Yeah, DeJuan Mathis, 4-star quarterback, bumped into his father, and he was like, hey, we're coming here. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, let everybody know we're coming here. So, yeah, 6'4", 6'5" quarterback. Jack, I actually saw him as a true freshman, and he stole the show. He was playing Cass Tech, and I'm like, I don't know who that kid is.
Right.
He's going to be good. And then later I found out that he was an underclassman, and when he committed to Iowa State, and then he decommitted, and I think State got a great quarterback for 2019 class.
Protects the football, doesn't throw pick sixes, doesn't fumble out in the open, right? All those things.
Yeah, you hope. You hope. Maybe something's in the water here.
Also want to welcome Doug Warren. He is our Detroit Lions and NFL historian and producer of The Drive with Jack and the Spartan Beat. Doug, one of the strangest finishes the Detroit Lions have ever had, and they've had some strange
They've
ones.
had some odd ones, as we know, but yeah, today it was another chapter in that book, and it was just crazy, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But yeah, it was a lot of action on Twitter when that thing blew up. So at the end of the game, the Lions lose a close one to a very good team in Atlanta.
We were all there last night at Spartan Stadium, so we'll be talking a lot about that. We'll also talk about the Michigan Wolverines, a comeback win at Purdue. We'll talk about the Big Ten and the national landscape. We're also going to talk about politics and sports. It's really reared its head over the weekend. And we're going to reflect back on a reunion spectacular event for the 66 Spartans and Fighting Irish coming up next.
At Sawyer Chevrolet, we are committed to transforming the car buying experience.
So many of the best previously owned cars and trucks to choose from. We hand select them and make sure they're in superior condition for you. We only handle the best, let the other guys deal with the rest. Most importantly, we put our guarantee behind every used car or truck. 3 months or 3,000 miles means you can rest assured you won't regret choosing Sawyer's.
You never overpay at Sawyer Chevrolet. You have my word on it.
When it comes to cancer, every day is a fight. By our patients, their families, and our caregivers. It's hard to describe how it feels when you see the victories happen. It makes us work that much harder to open new doors in the fight against cancer. Introducing the Sparrow Herbert Herman Cancer Center.
When you find something you've been craving, it's easy to get lost in the moment. Whether you're getting breakfast on the go, picking out the perfect slice, or creating it your way, all of our food is prepared fresh daily and ready for you when the moment strikes. Get lost in our new Mega Stuffer with 75% more stuffing and cheesy goodness. They're buy one, get one free for a limited time.
We're on the way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
Let Larry find a great deal for you at Larry's RV in Jackson.
Larry, are you out there?
I can get you in this Malibu for $152 a month.
We need to save people money.
Good news, you can get it for $120 a month.
Hiring Caesar's been our best idea yet. He's really saved our customers a lot of money. We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Lease a 2017 Chevy Malibu, just $120 a month. Or drive off in a new Chevy Silverado Double Cab, just $127 a month.
And we'll give you a minimum of $3,000 for your trade. We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Team spirit. Face paint. More cowbell. Dean Trailway's Motor Coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Law of the Jungle segment, brought to you by Woody's Oasis on Trowbridge Road, your healthy alternative to fast food. Eat Woody's and live longer. I'm talking about chicken shawarma with baked breast meat and hummus made fresh in a 3-day process. That's why I'm there every week. The Detroit Lions, an amazing job of almost winning against the Atlanta Falcons. Looked like they had it. Hands went up for the touchdown, and then the review. And Doug Warren, you just saw more and more indications that this thing was coming back. Heard from all the conspiracy theorists, and you shot those down. You said that was really the right call, right?
It's no conspiracy. I wondered what was going on when it happened, but you look at the replay, his knee was clearly down before the ball crossed the goal line. They reviewed it. The rule says that if you have no timeouts left and it's under 10 seconds to go and there was 8 seconds left, you don't have time to spike the ball and stop that clock with 8 seconds left after that play. Then they changed the rule 3-4 years ago where it's automatic 10-second runoff and the game is basically over because they think it's unfair to give an extra down at that moment to a team that doesn't have timeouts to stop the clock.
Graham, the Lions have had so many heartbreaking losses. Do you remember anything like that one?
This one is up there because I think there's renewed hope, right? And this, all of a sudden, you're playing what may be the best team in football. You're going toe-to-toe. You're creating turnovers. You're doing all this stuff. And you may actually get to 3-0. You talk about tiebreakers in the playoffs. All these big thoughts are going through your head. And then you get a moment like that. And the one thing I'd say that's unfair about the rule, 10 seconds is a round number. Before you come up with a rule like that, you have a team line up. You figure out how long it actually might take. That becomes the rule. It doesn't have to be 10 seconds. You make it 7. You make it 6.
They could have gotten up there to run a quarterback sneak?
Well, they could have, only because it was short. Now, imagine if that would have been a pass where they threw it 40 yards. You couldn't get the big offensive lineman and everybody on.
You can't have one round number for
10 seconds doesn't fit all
But I think 10 seconds is probably the fairest that you're going to get because if you say 5, that's too short. 15, that's too long. 10 seconds, nice round number. I don't know, Jack, to answer your question, I know you didn't ask it to me. I would say the pass back and forth type of thing, the loss to Green Bay when Jim Caldwell didn't know it was going to be a Hail Mary. And still the Sterling Sharp playoff touchdown where they just left him wide open. That to me, 2 worst Lion losses.
This is a tough loss today, obviously, because there's a lot riding on it. But again, 30-26 against the defending NFC champions. That's a team that Lions have tons of questions going into the season. They went into the game today without their 2 starters. Tavon Wilson and Jared Davis were out. Ziggy Ansah very limited, only a 3rd down pass rusher, and they still hung in there and had a chance to win the game again in the final seconds. And they started that drive. Remember, that drive started.
Players too,
I know that drive started with a 1st and 30 because they had 2 stupid penalties to start the drive. They had a holding penalty and then a pass interference penalty on T.J. Jones, I believe it was. So they started within the hole and still had a chance to win.
Jones penalty was a bad call. That was not a pass interference.
But just like Notre Dame, they had an edge 3 in takeaways and could not get it done. It looked like Matthew Stafford was going to have his 10th fourth quarter comeback in the span of 20 games. Graham, what did the Detroit Lions prove? I know there are no moral victories, but impressive at all?
Well, there are some impressive things. One, this defense is legit, I think, in terms of anything the Lions have been in a while. And secondly, Matt Stafford, if you watch him at the line of scrimmage, the progress he's made and his touch on ball, I mean, I thought he really looked like a quality NFL quarterback today in a big game against a really good defense. Those are 2 things you can hang your hat on. Now, you got to come back and beat the Vikings, right? You can't, this doesn't mean anything if it doesn't translate week to week. But I thought they played pretty well in a lot of phases today against a really good team.
I think the Lions could be 3-1, and there's work to be done, but that's 2 road wins, including 1 in the division. That's going to put them in pretty good shape the rest of the way.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't really see any dominant teams. Even the Patriots are struggling. There's no team that you're like, this team is definitely going to go to the Super Bowl. So it's open. The Lions are kind of showing that they belong. They're taking that next step. And I honestly thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you want to be. If you're Detroit and Matt Stafford, you want to be
And that's
down.
different, right? How many times in our lifetimes we believe the Lions were going to win a game like that?
Right.
You get to the point where you just believe they're going to do it. And that means they've changed the psyche a little bit, and that's something.
They almost had me one. Almost.
Tom Brady had to have some last-minute heroics again to get it done for the Patriots with Brandon Cooks. And I was surprised, Doug, that this was the first overtime win of Aaron Rodgers' career. So maybe the Packers haven't been in that many situations.
And what a way to do it, too, with the touchdown pass at the end. The Lions, as good as they're playing, they still have the Packers to contend with, and that's been their nemesis for 25 years since, as Rico referenced, the Sterling Sharp or Brett Favre touchdown. That, again, you take care of your own division, you put yourself in a position to challenge the Packers, and I think the Lions are in a better position now to do that at any time this early in the season since 1993. I've not been this excited about a Lions team this early since 1993 when Henry Bullough was running the defense for Wayne Fonts.
A lot of people excited about the Lions defense, as they should be, but they have a weapon that I think is the best in the National Football League, and Matt Prater.
Yeah.
It's so consistent, it's automatic, set an NFL record for consecutive 50-plus yard field goals. Rico Beard, you have a choice. You can only have one to come out and make a kick or kick for you in a game. You want Morton Anderson, Jason Hansen, or Matt Prater?
Right now, I got to go with Prater. I can't remember the last time he missed. There's no yardage that he can't kick from and not nail it. So give me Prater.
Pretty solid stuff. Michigan State didn't need a game-winning field goal. We're going to talk about the Spartans and their problems with turnovers. Coming up next, here on Press Pass.
The student bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, we have a taste for adventure because the only way to know how good something can be is to go for it. Try our veggie smoothies, Island Green, made with spinach, kale, pineapple, banana, and mango, and Caribbean Sea Burst with carrots, mango, banana, orange, and goji. Adventure begins with never knowing until you try, but always expecting something great. Go for a veggie smoothie at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
At Fabiano's Pizzeria, we're more than great pizza. We're family. We're friends. We're a team. Dough and sauce made from scratch. We're serious about quality. And we're honored to serve you. Fabiano's Pizzeria, Westphalia. Just down the road.
The Abood Law Firm, continuing a tradition of legal excellence.
No matter what job I've got to do, my John Deere 5E tractor will do it all. Whether I'm cutting, moving feed, or building a fence. Using my 5E means my work gets done faster at a price I can afford, and that works for me.
D&G Equipment, providing ag and turf solutions in Mason, Williamston, Corona, Howell, Highland, Charlotte, and Rives Junction.
MSU Federal Credit Union will help start your kids out on the right financial path. Teach your children how to save money in all stages of their lives with MSU FCU's youth accounts. Stop in today or visit msufcu.org for more information.
With the David Chapman Agency, auto owners insurance policies come with something extra. Local agents who care about you. Our agents will help you find the right coverage at the best price. 3 generations serving you at the David Chapman Agency, your local auto owners insurance agents.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Going Green segment, brought to you by Graf Chevrolet, a trusted friend with 103 years in the automobile business. Stop and see Matt, Mark, and Greg on West Grand River in Okemos. They'll take great care of you as they have on all 6 of my leases and purchases. Go green, go Graf.
We played 2 good football games. There are times in this football game where it looks like we're going to make a play and then something happens. But you got to execute. You got to execute consistently. you know, but we're not broken. I think our football team can win a lot of football games. You know, we've got guys who can make plays. I was impressed with Tristan Jackson tonight. Made some catches, which he needed to do, and step up, and he made some big catches. You know, the bottom line is -3, and 2 of them are scoring, impact the score of a game by 14 points. You know, that's very difficult to overcome.
Michigan State coach Mark D'Antonio with his post-game comments. Rico Beard, it isn't often. The team has 8 more minutes in time of possession, 144 more yards, and loses by 20 points. This team clearly has not valued the football. This has been a season-long problem. How do they fix it?
I don't know, but maybe Pat Narduzzi was right when he said stats are for losers because, yeah, if you look at that stat sheet, they won the game. They did everything that they were supposed to do. They limited Wimbush in his rushing yards, held him to, I think, like 170 yards passing. But, Jack, you said it. You can't turn over the ball. You can't give good teams extra possessions, and that's what they did with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame capitalized on it. Pick 6, and then with the fumble, they set them up on the 20-yard line in the red zone, and then, you know, you fumble going into score a touchdown with L.J. Scott. Come on.
Graham, is L.J. Scott a fumbler? Once you get that tag, it's hard to shake it.
Right, it's getting there, right? And I think they need to be a little worried about it. I wouldn't be concerned about Lewerke and his interception and fumble because I think he's going to figure that out. It's the 3rd game of his era. L.J. Scott, though, now this is, you know, everybody wants to compare him to Le'Veon Bell when he's at his best. Le'Veon Bell had 2 fumbles and about 700 carries at Michigan State. He's had 2 inside the 1-yard line in the first 3 weeks. So that becomes a thing. Even if it's a great hat on the ball, a great play made by a defender. And Chris Fry really got into him. I think that needed to be said. I mean, Lewerke kind of said, it's okay, I have 2 of them. What needs to be said, you're a junior. You're a guy who had a 22-play drive that wound up in a touchdown. And if he has another fumble, it gets to a point where you can't trust him. And that's a problem for Michigan State because he's their best running back.
See, the problem I had with the Chris Fry, that was good. He stepped up to be a leader. But then if you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. If you're Chris Fry, you can't get beat on a wheel route later on and have them score.
Right.
Well, I think that sometimes people get beat on plays because of physical mismatches, but this is 5 fumbles now for L.J. Scott. You go back to the Wisconsin game last year, the perfect hit, the ball shoots up, season-turning play. The Illinois game probably cost him that game in Champaign. 2 in the opener, and this one. Doug, what do they do about it?
Well, what do they do about it? Ultimately, if he doesn't fix it himself and value the football, they're going to have to go to somebody else. It's Madre London or Gerald Holmes. And the other thing, though, that I see with this team yesterday is against this better competition. Offensive line is much better than it was a year ago, but last night I saw Brian Lewerke uncomfortable in the pocket because the offensive line at times was getting overwhelmed by Notre Dame's pass rush.
Right.
And he was throwing off his back foot, his feet weren't set, and the throws were errant, and that was a result of him being uncomfortable in the pocket.
And he's just inexperienced.
He is.
With traffic around his feet, and he's had success running the ball, so that's sort of a trigger for him as well.
He's played 7 games.
Right. That's the thing.
Right.
And people have to remember that.
L.J. Scott's played 3 years.
People have to remember that. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a process. A month from now, if he's still locking in on Darryl Stewart and throwing behind him and a pick 6 happens again, or he's still trying to get the extra yard and being careless with the ball, then that's a different storyline. But these are things early in his tenure.
We learned that Matt Coughlin can kick a 40-yard field goal.
Yeah.
What else did we learn, and what does it mean for next Saturday when Iowa gets here?
Well, that was important, though, because I think this team's going to be in a lot of games that our special teams are going to play a role, and Jake Hartbarger's been fantastic, and I think if you've got a kicker you can lean on, that's going to make the difference in at least 1 or 2 ball games. But I think Michigan State can't compete, and they know that now. Notre Dame, I think, is a good football team, maybe a top 25 football team. They went toe-to-toe with them physically in a lot of realms, and I think that has to be promising. They basically beat themselves.
Doug, Michigan State 1-2 again with a deflating loss in Game 3. How many of the last 9 can they win? Last year they only won 1 of them.
I think they can win 5. They can go 5-4. What combination of those will be, I think.
Make them 7-5 for the year.
Yeah, which is kind of what a lot of people thought they would be to start the season.
We'll be right back. We'll talk about the University of Michigan, our Out of the Blue segment, up next.
When you find something you've been craving, it's easy to get lost in the moment. Whether you're getting breakfast on the go, picking out the perfect slice, or creating it your way, all of our food is prepared fresh daily and ready for you when the moment strikes. Get lost in our new Mega Stuffer with 75% more stuffing and cheesy goodness. They're buy one, get one free for a limited time.
We're on the way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
To all lovers of cheese, A&W has something for you. Cheese curds. Gooey, delicious, 100% Wisconsin white cheddar cheese. Golden fried to perfection. For a snack, for a side, for the love of cheese. Only at your local A&W.
Fall is here, and at American Metal Roofs, our schedule's getting tight. To get your new roof before winter, you must order now. This month, you'll save up to $7,500. Call 844-METAL-ROOFs today and visit
AmericanMetalRoofs.com.
Catch all the savings and excitement during Capital Honda's Savings Rush, now at Capital Honda.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
The Knapp Center is a historical hub for future business growth in beautiful downtown Lansing.
The Ide Company did the best they could to preserve the integrity of the history of this building while incorporating a modern open workspace.
They have been prompt, they have been efficient, and they really are a friendly, great group of people that we don't have any concerns about calling them for any of our needs.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the Ide Company family.
I can get you in this Malibu for $152 a month.
We need to save people money. Woo!
Good news, you can get it for $120 a month.
Hiring Caesar's been our best idea yet. He's really saved our customers a lot of money. We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Lease a 2017 Chevy Malibu, just $120 a month, or drive off in a brand new 2018 Equinox, just $110 a month.
And we'll give you a minimum of $3,000 for your trade.
We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Hello, my name is Dr. John Braccio, psychologist. If you or your child have problems with focus, inattention, sitting still, memory, concentration, these are traits of ADHD. Visit us at drjohnb.com.
How's Wilton doing?
I think it's. I don't think it's anything structural. I think it's soft tissue. But I thought John was really played great. He was seeing things really good right from the time that he came into the ball game. Ran the offense well, made the big plays. Throw that he hit the Gentry on the seam route down the middle was a big time throw, and he had others. I thought he played great. I was really proud of him. Proud of the whole team. As you say, I mean, when you go, you beat another man, you got to do that in a football game, and then you got to go against the crowd, as you mentioned, and you got to beat the elements. Nothing will make you feel more like a man than that.
Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, a lot more words there than we got from him during his Monday press conference last week. But Graham Couch, you never want to see anyone get injured. Did the Wolverines find what they've been looking for when John O'Korn came in to replace Wilton Speight?
I've always liked John O'Korn long before he got to Michigan. I thought he's a guy who's a gamer. Now, that said, I thought Speight was going to be the answer at the end of last year. That clearly wasn't happening. It wasn't happening early against Purdue, and the worst thing Purdue did, in my mind, was hurt him, because I'm not sure Michigan was going to win that game the way that was going. That offense was so inept.
Yeah. Purdue had their defense all set to stop Wilton Speight.
Right, and that often happens. A backup comes in who brings different elements and gets tough. O'Korn is a guy who is a little risky. I mean, he will turn the ball over, but he'll make plays for you. And I think where this Michigan offense was, though, it needed that guy, even though there's a little risk in that.
Rico, does this make Michigan more or less likely to win 10 games, more than that, if John O'Korn is the answer?
That's a good question, Jackie, because kind of like what Graham said, he's a gambler. He will take chances, and for as good as he looked in the second half against Purdue, he will stink up the joint with some turnovers, and you're going to like, oh my God, let's go back to Speight. The problem is, what do? You got a bye week. I think that was the worst thing that happened to Michigan is a bye week, because now you got 2 weeks of speculation. Who's going to be the quarterback? Do you go with 2-quarterback system? Does Speight lose the job because of injury? Can an old NFL quarterback have his quarterback lose a job because of injury? I don't think so. But if you're O'Korn, I think once teams can game plan for him, they'll find the weaknesses in there. For Michigan State, you're probably going to have to prepare for 2 quarterbacks.
Doug Warren, we have seen Jim Harbaugh make quarterback changes in the past. You can ask Alex Smith about that when Colin Kaepernick came in. What do you think he's going to do?
I think it'll go with O'Korn right now, because if you have a gambler who's going to take some more chances and maybe turn the ball over, you got a defense that can handle it anyway. It doesn't matter. You can turn the ball over. This defense is absolutely lights out. This is a national championship level defense. We saw it yesterday. They dominated Purdue, a team that had taken Louisville to the well on week 1. This defense is as good as any, and with that, I think you saw an instant change when O'Korn came in yesterday. And as soon as that happened, I was like, well, I want to see what this guy does. And they transform themselves, and they're going to get some confidence. And if that whole offense gets confidence, then this team could go to another level.
And some of that is belief. And you see that when people come in. Last year at Penn State, Damian Terry comes in for Tyler O'Connor, and the team had just kind of given up on Tyler O'Connor, and you saw kind of a breath of new life. And sometimes that happens, and you can kind of tell, I think, where the team was with Wilton Speight.
Chris Evans coming in, I think, gave a big lift yesterday, too, in place of Ty Isaac. Rico, Michigan trailed 10-7 in the third quarter yesterday. Is that a sign that there are problems there, or is it great that they could come back and get a double-digit win on the road and cover the spread?
I think it's a little bit of both, Jack. The fact that you get a win is a win. You never apologize for getting a victory. But I do think there's trouble there, because kind of like with Michigan State, once you go up against better talent and better teams, you can't make those mistakes. You can't turn the ball over. You can't kick field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. So once you go up against the Penn States and the Ohio States and the Wisconsins, I don't know if you can win those games, and I still don't have them winning those games.
Doug Warren, we have seen enough of the Michigan defense now. I wasn't ready to do this after the Florida game, but I can lump Michigan in with Alabama defensively now. What do you think the Wolverines will do against Brian Lewerke and the Spartans with a couple weeks to prepare?
Well, I think the better question is, what is Michigan State going to be able to do, or what, more importantly, not do? If they continue to turn the ball over, whether it's interceptions or fumbles, this game could get out of hand real fast and could get very ugly, because this Michigan defense will capitalize on a team that's sloppy. If they have penalties, if the offensive line can't hold back the pass rush, Lewerke will be more uncomfortable and more likely to turn the ball over. So, and having the bye week in this case helps Michigan prepare, and which is not good. The timing for Michigan State is not good, but stranger things have happened. It's a rivalry, and the Spartans tend to rise to the occasion under Mark D'Antonio.
And Michigan State needs to worry about Iowa right now. They can deal with the rivalry in a week.
Yeah.
Michigan State has to take care of business. Michigan has a chance to prepare, do some special things. And I think we've seen in every game there are moments where it looks like Michigan has 13 guys on the field on defense. They're that fast going sideline to sideline. The problems that presents going to be very interesting, not just for Michigan State, but down the road. Penn State going to be able to handle this? What about Wisconsin, Ohio State?
Look, and we've seen this with Michigan State before, when they had a great defense in 12 and didn't have the offense, and then did eventually in 13. When you have a great defense like this, you don't want to waste it.
We'll be right back. We're going to take a look at the big picture with the Big Ten and national landscape up next.
Greater Lansing, Michigan is the winning choice for your next athletic tournament or event. From art court to shooting sports, soccer, baseball, and bowling, we've got facilities available near team-friendly dining and lodging options. Having a Big Ten school in our backyard gives our community a constant buzz of youthful enthusiasm and provides a host of top-notch sports venues available to visiting groups as well. The GLSA is excited to be a part of your team. Contact us today.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
It was a Saturday of smiles for Michigan State at Michigan Stadium. A sea of white amid maize and blue. A team that laid it all on the line with ferocious hits and a steady hand. For 59 minutes and 50 seconds, then all hell broke loose. Cherish the memories of last October 17th and one of the greatest finishes in college football history. The Perfect 10 by Jack Ebling and Joe Rexrode. Go to 10perfectseconds.com before time runs out.
Hitler and Ben at 3, Judge Judy at 4. Afternoons on Fox 47.
get to the store and only a few items are on sale? Not at the Indoor Grow Store. IGS has prices so low they're beating the internet with their Price Beat Guarantee. We're the area's largest inventory of major brand nutrients, including Humboldt Secret, Mite Out, Mighty Enemy, and home of the Magic Trimmer. Why shop elsewhere online when you can pick up these specials in our local stores? 3 Lansing area locations, Jackson, Battle Creek, and Flint. IGS, you're gonna love that place.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. It's time for The Big Picture, brought to you by Dean Trailways. With trips for every season, Dean takes care of the details so you can enjoy the experience, including daily casino runs and great getaways to northern Michigan and Chicago. Doug Warren and I took a Dean luxury cruiser to Chicago, joined 27 pro football greats, more than 100 supporters of the Shinsky Orphanage in Metamoris, not far from landfall for Hurricane Harvey. Lots of college football action late into the night. Rico Beard, Vanderbilt's players are usually pretty intelligent.
They're the smart school in the SEC, Jack.
How could they not know it's best to keep your mouth shut before you play Alabama?
That's emotion. That was their guy at the end of their last game that they won, and he looks at the camera and says, Alabama, you're next. Really? At that point, you knew a beatdown was coming. If Alabama wasn't motivated, they are. You never challenge Bama's manhood. Michigan State made that mistake in the Outback Bowl years ago when they talked trash to them in warm-ups. Those Bama players weren't ready to win that game. They were conceding the loss. They rallied. For Vandy, same thing. Dumb. And I'm quite sure it was a reason why it was a shutout.
Yeah.
That was a statement.
Yeah.
Don't let my name come in your mouth. Show me some respect.
What does being a smart school in the SEC get you, though? I mean, where does that put you really?
You know what it gets you? It gets you a guarantee.
Terry Denbo wants a piece of you right now.
Because they need you. It's the same way Northwestern was for the Big Ten. We need your grades. We'll beat up on you, but we still
Sheila Williams, the wife of former Michigan State head coach and position coach Bobby Williams, was in the press box yesterday at Spartan Stadium. And we were talking about the 59-0 Bama win, and she said that was a big mistake for the Commodores. They should have known better. But what about Penn State and your buddy James Franklin getting a last play victory over Iowa?
Yeah, you know what? Apparently this game went on during the state game, so not a lot of state people saw what happened. But they woke up and said, hey, we have Saquon Barkley. He's good. Let's get him the ball a lot more. Because Iowa was winning this game. Barkley had a Heisman-like performance in it. You know, it's like what?
Still took a last play pass that cleared the linebacker's hand by a half an inch.
Do you want to die by being eaten by a bear or fire ants? I mean, either way, you still die. That's how I feel about Franklin winning that game. It's good because, you know, it may keep Michigan out of winning the East.
Did you two talk late last night? I know you talk a lot.
Did I say what?
You and James Franklin.
Yeah, he called me on the way, and you know, I hung up on him. So sorry about that.
Doug, you saw every play of that game. You were watching it.
I was watching both.
There.
Yeah. Yep.
What did you see? What impressed you? And what do you think of the Iowa Hawkeyes now?
Well, they have the best. Penn State is the best quarterback or running back duo I see in the Big Ten, and I would argue maybe
in the country.
Maybe even in the country with Trace McSorley and Barkley. Barkley 211 yards rushing, 94 passing. For Penn State to go down the field like they did in Iowa at night against that defense with no timeouts, and they end up winning it in the last play of the game. That says a lot about them, how they're continuing to grow, and I think I have them as the third best team in the country behind Clemson and Alabama.
Which Big Ten team had the best week and the worst week?
The best week, I would say, probably got to be Penn State because I think Iowa's a top 25 team too. The worst week, though, Maryland losing 38-10 to Central Florida. All that momentum they had after going down to Austin, beating Texas in week 1. That's kind of out the window now.
Well, they had 2 quarterback injuries, which has changed their season dramatically too.
And the other, maybe a close second, is Michigan State. They had a chance to make a statement last night on national television, and they didn't play well.
Oh, they made a statement.
Well, they did. I mean, I'm sorry, like a positive
We're not
statement.
ready.
Well, yeah.
They even came out and said that. I'll give them credit. Lewerke said that in the postgame.
Right.
Maybe the bright lights got to us.
Graham, 1 week ago, people were talking about Oklahoma State as a viable national title contender. Tom Crawford. What did you make of what happened to the Cowboys yesterday, falling off their ponies, and anything else in the national landscape?
Yeah, well, number one, TCU all of a sudden becomes, I mean, this is the way it is, right? Week to week, somebody steps up in a big moment on the road.
Mississippi State tried that last week. What happened to them?
Right, yeah, and that's what I mean. It's week to week. This is why when the playoff first came to be, and we'd overreact to week one, we'd overreact to week two. We have learned to wait until late October to make too many judgments about wins and losses because teams can come back into play. Team like Ohio State loses at home. They'll come back into play. You know, but TCU to me, Bama, Ohio State, I mean, these are Penn State. Every great team goes through a week on the road like Penn State just did. When you survive that against a game team in a tough environment, that says something about you.
You know what else? I think I now understand a little bit more about the SEC, and we're going to have Alabama versus Georgia in that championship game. Yeah, Georgia's win over Notre Dame on the road looks a little bit better now.
Yeah,
and
no
Atlanta
question.
too. That game will be in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they look for real. And Mike Griffith, I give him credit. He told me, I asked him before the season started if there's a team in the East that could maybe beat Alabama, and he told me it was Georgia. So, you know, they look really good. That win at Notre Dame and then the win yesterday where they just dominated Mississippi State was pretty impressive.
Jim Mora might be one of the coaches on the hot seat now, and yeah, he got that win over Texas A&M, but struggled against a very disappointing Stanford team yesterday. So,
West Coast football, you know, I mean, it's just nobody cares out there, and it's. Although I still think USC will be in play, I really do.
I think I like Washington best from the Pac-12, Doug's team from last year.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a minute, and we're going to talk about sports and politics and the reaction to what came from the White House this week. Up next.
After reviewing the play, you should be driving a Honda from Capital Honda. During Capital Honda's Savings Rush, catch 2017 Honda Accord LX, 0 down, $219 a month. Score 2017 Honda Civic LX, $169 a month. Rush to Capital Honda today.
Total Firearms on Cedar Street in Mason is your complete outdoor store. We have rifles, pistols, bows, and crossbows, and a huge selection of fishing gear at great prices. Total Firearms, your complete outdoor store with Mid-Michigan's finest indoor gun range.
During our Made to Move 2017 clearance event, you can do endless online research, or you can take advantage of our best offer ever on an XT5. Don't wait. Our 2017 models will be moving fast. You can drive a car, or you can drive a Cadillac.
GM employs and eligible family members with a Cadillac. Get this low-mileage lease on this Cadillac XT5 for $269 per month. Visit Suburban Cadillac of Lansing or Jim Winter Cadillac in Jackson.
Mom at 6:30, an hour of Big Bang at 7. Only on Fox 47.
Anyone who's had our chicken knows it's plump and juicy. What they may not know is that it's also 100% natural.
All our chickens are certified, humanely raised, no antibiotics, on a high-quality diet of soy and grain.
Why are they called tenders?
They're called tenders because they come from the tenderloin to the breast, hand-trimmed just for colors. It's not a strip or a finger, it is the true tenderloin.
I'll put our chicken tenders up against anybody's.
That's like my Granny Franklin used to make. That's outstanding, Craig.
Welcome to Delicious.
The Student Bookstores are Green and White Shop headquarters. Outfit your entire family with Spartan gear. We have a large selection of men's, women's, and children's clothing. Show off your Michigan State pride with new shoes, socks, hats, and more. Have your tailgate ready with MSU party supplies, car accessories, and dress your pet in green and white. We have gifts for students, grads, alumni, and fans. From Vera Bradley and Dooney and Burke to diploma frames and more. Always shop SBS for the biggest and best selection of green and white. Go green, go white, go SBS.
Well, I got my start in officiating when a friend told me I should try it. At first I just did basketball, and I got hooked. Before long, I added baseball, softball, football, and volleyball. I really enjoyed giving back to the game, working with kids, and working with my local association to recruit and train new officials. I would like to say to anybody that officiating is a great way to help kids and stay connected to the game. We always need new officials. There's help wanted, just listen.
Strange week in the sports scene. There you see Atlanta Falcons down on one knee before the game at Ford Field today. Lions doing likewise. A lot of teams linked arms. Coaches involved, even had an owner involved in this process. All because of tweets and comments. It began with Donald Trump from the White House, and branched out into a lot of other people getting involved in this fray, kind of like a hockey melee where everybody comes together and suddenly it's not the two guys. You've got bench clearing brawl over this. Doug Warren, have you seen anything like this before?
No, not since the 60s. You know, when you had Muhammad Ali and Jim Brown, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar standing up to what they saw as social injustice at the time. I am very encouraged by seeing what LeBron, Steph Curry, and I think they're kind of the leaders of this thing. D. Wade, Carmelo Anthony, they were kind of ahead of the curve with this, and now it's picked up in all the professional sports. I'm much happier to see professional athletes using their positions for positive change, other than like what we saw in the 80s where Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and Karl Malone and others were really afraid to do anything except sell shoes and make sound bites.
There you see LeBron James tweet, and he went back at the president and defending the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry came out and said that he would vote against a trip to the White House, and then they were promptly uninvited. Rico, your take on all this?
Where do you want me to start, Jack? I mean, this is just... I now think I understand when people tell us to stick to sports and not to get into politics, because maybe somebody should have told President Trump to stick to politics and not sports. All he did was galvanize the players and the owners and everybody when it came to the flag and the national anthem. I don't think that it would have been that big of a deal. But now you're having teams in solidarity saying we're not going to do it, and it's really because of him and his comments that he said. And quite honestly, it's so contradicting because, as Doug said, we live in some strange times now where your president can in 1 week praise white supremacists and Nazis at Charlottesville and say, well, you know, they're okay. They're okay people. They're not all bad. But then you come out and you call people who stand up against the flag and you call them SOBs and you say they should be fired. You're contradicting yourself, and it really is. Maybe he should take the advice that people often tell us to stick to sports. Maybe he should just stick to politics.
Aren't there enough other things, enough other problems in the world that we could be talking about, worried about? It just seems like a trifle, and it's further dividing the country. Regardless of your political beliefs, you have to admit that this has really taken the nation over the weekend here, and people are talking about this as much as they are the games.
Well, and the thing is, you're getting more and more division. I mean, that's what I worry about. The thing is, when you do start to bring certain people together who at one point were divided because something becomes just so ludicrous, and that is my hope that we're getting to that point. What's interesting about the stick to sports thing is people in the sports realm don't really want to stick to sports, and sometimes we do reluctantly because we know a lot of our followers want that or whatever it is. You open the door now, and it allows people to have to be able to say things that they wanted to say.
I say this: I can talk politics until they tell me I don't have to pay taxes. I can talk politics because stick to sports. I'm a citizen, right. And the sad part about it was, Jack, this kind of takes away because it took away from the guys kneeling. They were kneeling because of the injustice that was happening to black males getting killed by cops, and then it took it to where you hate the military and you hate the flag and you hate America.
Here's my problem with it,
and it wasn't that.
There needs to be dialogue, discussion. There's a great discussion. I mean, look, Colin Kaepernick could really use a good civics class. He absolutely could. There are lots of things he doesn't understand, but he's a brave fella in what he did too. Yeah. So, and I think that discussion is the thing that gets lost when you have the president, because he's in front of his supporters and his bubble. You know, this is not something he would say into the faces of these NFL guys, and that's the other problem too. He's still at these rallies as if he's campaigning instead of governing, and that's ridiculous.
I welcome this. You can say, keep talking. Keep talking, go to your rallies, we'll get all this on TV. Let's bring all these people out in the open. So there's no more hiding behind this stuff. Because this has always been a problem, race in this country. Ever since the Constitution was ratified, and you count in the census, slaves is 1/5 of in the census, one person for every 5 of them. It's just, we've had this problem. We've had a civil war, that didn't fix it. Jim Crow, 100 years, that didn't fix it. Let's get this thing fixed. They let us all out in the open, and let's hear where these people stand so we can get them all out in the open in the sunshine, and then we can take care of the problem.
Well, when LeBron James, who has never been bashful, he's always been willing to share his views on things, calls the president a bum and said that a White House visit used to be an honor until somebody showed up.
It's about time. Yeah,
then obviously everybody's going to have a view of this, right?
Jack, you're right. I mean, they will, and like Doug said, when you got your main athletes, because it didn't happen a lot as of late. You go back to the 60s, like I said, with Ali and Tommy Smith at the Olympics, they said something. It would be funny if the Golden State Warriors took a picture like in Obama's backyard saying, we're with him and not with you.
And I can tell you, having been in a bazillion locker rooms, that most pro athletes are conservative and they're more likely to be Republican. Sometimes not so much, but in the majority of sports that is true. And now we're getting that polarizing divide too. We'll be right back. We're going to talk about a reunion coming up.
The demons of addiction had taken me hostage.
Needed alcohol or I was going to die.
The drugs and the alcohol was tearing me apart.
Addicts can recover. Addicts do recover. At the Watershed, we believe in recovery. We believe that every addict deserves the opportunity to be healed. We've helped thousands of patients recover from this seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. Our team of addiction professionals will address the underlying causes of your addiction while treating you with dignity and respect in a safe and comfortable environment. Our promise is we never impose a financial hardship upon patients. We work with major medical insurance companies and we'll make treatment affordable. You can do it. Do it today. So there's no reason to wait one more day. The time to call is now. So call the Watershed today.
Advanced technology and forecasting. Storm Shield weather. Only on Fox 47 News.
I can get you in this Malibu for $152 a month.
We need to save people money. Woo!
Good news. You can get it for $120 a month.
Hiring Caesar's been our best idea yet. He's really saved our customers a lot of money. We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Lease a 2017 Chevy Malibu, just $120 a month. Or drive off in a new Chevy Silverado Double Cab, just $127 a month.
And we'll give you a minimum of $3,000 for your trade.
We're tackling high prices at every Graf dealership.
Team spirit, face paint, more cowbell. Dean Trailway's motor coach takes care of your travel, so you can support your favorite Spartan teams and focus on the important things. Dean Trailways, your favorite ride.
At Fabiano's Pizzeria, we're more than great pizza. We're family. We're friends. We're a team. Dough and sauce made from scratch. We're serious about quality. And we're honored to serve you. Fabiano's Pizzeria, Westphalia. Just down the road.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Lansing's Best segment, brought to you by the Greater Lansing Sports Authority, bringing tens of thousands of guests to Mid-Michigan for dozens of tournaments and special events. Hats off to everyone at the GLSA for showing just what this area can be. There you see the photo taken of nearly 30 Michigan State and Notre Dame football players and coaches yesterday. Hall of Fame Cafe, part of a great reunion weekend. Very happy to have with us Bob Cantrell, event coordinator, MSU historian, Spartan player. Bob, congratulations on pulling this off. I know how much it meant to everyone who was there.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. I will have to say it was an incredible weekend, being with some incredible people, reflecting on an incredible game and incredible careers, all right? In football, both at Michigan State and professionally afterwards.
When you think about the 10 first-round draft picks, the 25 All-Men, we can go on and on with all of the honors. But
amazing.
Why does a game like this, with no winner, live on more than a half century later?
Well, I was there, all right?
Yeah.
And I guess my personal reflection would be probably why a lot of people felt at the time is that it wasn't supposed to end this way.
Right.
We're sitting in the stands. It was the equivalent of a national championship game and probably the only one we'll ever have in East Lansing, all right? And of course, you know, you see the pride that they had in it. They outdrew the Super Bowls.
Right.
But it was for the national championship, and it was at the end of the season.
Right.
Which
Neither
was
team could
amazing.
go to a bowl game.
And you couldn't go to a bowl game, and Notre Dame didn't go to bowl games, and so that was it.
Right.
I mean, this was the game. And consequently, the 1 and 2 teams playing each other at the end of the season, like they did, it captured the nationwide attention.
Pat Gallinaw gave a great speech, and he talked about if there had been a winner, teams would have gone into the dust bin of history.
Right.
But instead, this conversation's going to live forever. George Gedeke, Terry Hanratty expressed those sentiments, and we had some singing too yesterday.
Oh, yes, yes. They had some singing. Well, on Friday night, we had a pizza party. Okay. We had it up the varsity club of the stadium. And the Notre Dame guys, they banded together and they sang their fight song.
Right.
Well, they turned around and said, "You guys, we don't think you really know your song, do you?" Well, the Spartans responded in kind, big time, okay? And just really let out a rendition of our fight song. Well, yesterday to open the series, I couldn't resist it. I said, you know, we had a song off last night, you know, the two teams singing their fight songs.
Right.
And after a strong and complete consideration, said, hey, guess what? There's a tie. And they all cracked up, okay? But I had to say this. Notre Dame had the ability to bring out the best in us.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the hardest hitting games you will ever see anywhere, and players talked about that.
Right.
Just about every one of them mentioned the bruises that they still felt weeks afterward. But these two programs could not have been more intertwined when you think about not just Notre Dame playing a very important role in Michigan State getting into the Big Ten, but going back to Knute Rockne originally signing a contract to coach Michigan State before he got the chance at Notre Dame, Frank Leahy wanting the Michigan State job, John Hanna urging that happen, and President Shaw said, "No, I think we're going to go with Charlie Bachman." And then Duffy Doherty having a chance to coach at Notre Dame. And Terry Hanratty talked about how he was ready to go to Michigan State, met Era, changed his mind. The hardest thing he'd ever had to do in his life was call Duffy.
Right.
And Duffy handled it so well.
Oh, well, I tell you, it's very touching because he reflected that he was like 17 years old. He dreaded having to call Duffy.
Right.
And Duffy was the most gracious. That's a great school Notre Dame is. I wish you the best. I want things to go well for you. It left a lasting impression on Terry that he said, every game except the one he plays against us, he cheers for the Spartans.
Exactly. Where are we now with this series, Bob? There is no game set on the schedule till 2026. But as was pointed out yesterday, you can bet that Father Hesburgh would want this series to continue.
Absolutely.
John Hanna certainly would. In fact, Father Kavanaugh spent time with John Hanna, was really responsible for this, and Hesburgh spent the night of the 10-10 tie at Hanna's house, right?
Right, right.
You know that Duffy and Era would want this series to continue, will it?
Oh, well, I think it's dull to say simple words that they're not on the schedule. I think the rivalry and the relationship is so intertwined between Michigan State and Notre Dame that it's just a shame that they're not on an annual play each other home and away series. You know, I think back on it when Dr. Hanna came forward and said, look, you got to get your schedule and strengthen in order to be in the Big Ten. He went to Notre Dame, and they said, yeah, we'll do it. But he went in with the thought is, we'll always come down here. And they said, Notre Dame said, no.
So they'll come here and mix it up.
We'll play home and away.
Home and home. I think it's going to happen. Talking to a lot of people yesterday, I'd be very surprised if this series is not back on a regular basis, and whether it has to be a neutral site or home and home, I really think it's going to happen. We'll be right back. Thank you very much, Bob Cantrell. Back in a moment.
Greater Lansing, Michigan is the winning choice for your next athletic tournament or event. From art court to shooting sports, soccer, baseball, and bowling, we've got facilities available near team-friendly dining and lodging options. Having a Big Ten school in our backyard gives our community a constant buzz of youthful enthusiasm and provides a host of top-notch sports venues available to visiting groups as well. The GLSA is excited to be a part of your team. Contact us today.
Working with the IDE company, 1, is very easy to do. 2, they're very responsive to our needs. And 3, as we've grown as a company, they've listened to those needs and they've helped us plan out our future in terms of growth that needs to be done at this location.
It's just comforting to know I'm working with the IDE company, knowing that they can accommodate our growth. In that way, they're an excellent partner.
Opportunities for retail, office, restaurant, and residential. Build the future as a member of the IDE company family.
It was a Saturday of smiles for Michigan State at Michigan Stadium. A sea of white amid maize and blue. A team that laid it all on the line with ferocious hits and a steady hand. For 59 minutes and 50 seconds, then all hell broke loose. Cherish the memories of last October 17th and one of the greatest finishes in college football history. Perfect 10 by Jack Ebling and Joe Rexroad. Go to 10perfectseconds.com before time runs out.
Catch all the savings and excitement during Capital Honda's Savings Rush, now at Capital Honda.
When you find something you've been craving, it's easy to get lost in the moment. Whether you're getting breakfast on the go, picking out the perfect slice, or creating it your way, all of our food is prepared fresh daily and ready for you when the moment strikes. Get lost in our new Mega Stuffer with 75% more stuffing and cheesy goodness. They're buy one, get one free for a limited time.
We're on the way, the convenience stores of Speedway.
Welcome back to Press Pass here on Fox 47. Time for our Cool and Smooth segment brought to you by the 4 Culver's locations in mid-Michigan. Since 1984, Culver's has been delighting guests one meal at a time with scrumptious Butterburgers and premium frozen custard. That's Culver's. Welcome to Delicious. All right, Team 209, who has been as cool and smooth as a Culver's mint explosion this week. Graham Couch, what about our play of the week?
My play of the week is going to be CBS hiring Tony Romo as an NFL analyst. And to me, watching or listening to him describe the game and take you through Aaron Rodgers' performance as it happened and what Aaron Rodgers was seeing today against Cincinnati, I left that game feeling more educated about the sport, about what Rodgers sees. To have one of his contemporaries be able to do it that well, and this is a hard thing to do. Not everybody transitions that well to be an analyst. He has taken to it extremely well, and it's just a joy to listen to. I think I will look for what his game is from here on out and want to watch it.
So you're saying he has a better second act, maybe, than he was a quarterback at Dallas?
Yeah, he is a better analyst.
John Madden?
Better analyst than he was quarterback, and again, it's a hard thing to do, and really a treat to listen to.
I heard that they had him do 10 on-site practice games, which is a lot more than ESPN did with Rex Ryan and Sergio Dip.
Probably 0 with Dip, right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a great name, Dip, by the way. Perfect.
Rico Beard, what about our game of the week?
The game of the week, I thought about this. I thought about going with the Lions and the Falcons, but I don't want to do that to you, Lions fans. I feel your pain, so I'm going to be nice, and I'm going to go to something that hurts me deeply to say. I have to give it to the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Jason, I may need some gasoline from you when this segment is over to burn myself, but Iowa had the lead in Kinnick. It looked like they were going to upset yet another top team. And, Trace McSorley hits Juwan Johnson with a 7-yard touchdown on 4th down as time expires. That's what champions do. They find ways to win games. They find ways to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. I got to give Penn State credit. Between Trace McSorley, between Saquon Barkley, they got the job done. The Michigan State game was a blowout, so we started watching this game up in the press box, and I got to give it to Penn State. To me, they look like the best team in the Big Ten. There, I said it. I feel dirty. I'm sorry.
The Iowa Speed almost got it done, Graham. Doug Warren, what about our team of the week?
Team of the week, Michigan State women's volleyball. Yeah. 2 big upsets over the weekend. They beat number 5 Wisconsin on Friday, and today they beat number 1 Minnesota on ESPN. Not only did they beat them, they swept them. 6 wins, 6 sets and nothing. MSU's now 9-2 overall, 2-0 in Big Ten play, and they host Maryland and Ohio State next weekend. So congratulations to the Lady Spartans.
That is a shock because since Michigan State lost to Notre Dame, they're playing as well as anyone in the country, but to have 2 wins like that and shutouts to win every game says a lot. Kathy George and company, congratulations. All right, time for our player of the week, and there are a lot of ways you can go with this. I want to give a special shout out to Brock Gross of Portland High School. A tremendous effort the other night against Lansing Catholic. You could talk about so many people in the National Football League and college football, but I think it's time to talk about Kirk Gibson. And yesterday, Kirk Gibson was honored last night, being on the Wall of Honor at Michigan State. His number 23 was up there, but more important to him was what he did with his team, and he's always been about the team, Gibby and Friends versus Parkey. And we had a chance to talk with him during the afternoon, and then there was a fundraiser. Came up with close to $1.2 million for a new program with Parkinson's research. George Perlis was over there. He knows all about Parkinson's. Dr. Jim Pochin, another Parkinson's sufferer. But to have Luana K. Simon, the medical personnel, Mark Hollis, everyone over there. Alan Trammell was there. And Alan Trammell is there every step of the way for Kirk Gibson. It was a pretty spectacular event. The only thing was Gibby didn't like the football game. Can you imagine that?
I wonder why.
Yeah. It was also cool to see Denny Stoltz, the guy who recruited him, and Darryl Rogers there last night, along with about 30 of his teammates.
Another great Lions coach.
Yeah. I want to thank you for joining us as we start year 5. I want to thank Graham Couch, the Lansing State Journal, Rico Beer, the Spartan Beat, Doug Warren, our producer. We'll see you next Sunday, everyone.